All my life, I wanted to be a cop.
It's a bonus episode. Hello and welcome to another episode of Kill James Bond. I'm Alice Caldwell-Kelly, joined as always by my friends Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Hey, what's up?
You know that.
How you doing?
Because you give us your money, and thank you so much for that. We have done a companion piece to Copland, the last and only good Stallone movie.
That's right.
And this was my pick. I thought maybe we should watch a little film, a little biopic called Serpico.
Mm-hmm. Now, you maybe watched Sepico and you didn't prepare me in any way for this.
No?
Let me ask the audience this. Have you ever had a sexual awakening from a movie? Have you ever had a movie and been like, this is the hottest anyone has ever looked in the history of the
Green
world?
In quite a few things.
Cars 2?
Anna Karina and Vive sa vie.
Myself and my partner Becca watched this movie and both of us were like, this is the hottest that anyone has ever looked is Al Pacino in Serpico.
Keira Knightley and Anna Karenina.
Oh, not the Val Kilmer moment.
We had a shared Val Kilmer moment. It was a folie à deux for fucking Val Kilmer.
Al Pacino.
For Al Pacino.
Yeah. And this is a young Pacino too, because this is like 73. And I mean, how old was he? He was born like 1940, so he's like 33 in this.
Really, he falls off past 40, so it's fine. You have to get in
now
there.
He's 900 years old, you know, so you sort of like, you get married to a young, attractive Pacino, and you just have to live with the Dunkachino Pacino for the rest of your life.
Well, okay, listen, the thing is, he still fucks throughout the entire rest of his life.
You get Devil's Advocate Pacino.
I just watched Devil's Advocate a couple of days ago.
Oh my word. What an awful, brilliant film.
You fall in love with a Serpico Pacino, but you marry a House of Gucci Pacino.
I would be marrying the Dog Day Afternoon Pacino.
Attica. Yeah, so we're gonna do that during robbery season, whenever that is. But yeah, so Serpico is a true story about police corruption.
I
police
did not know that.
Yeah. Real guy, Frank Serpico.
Oh, that explains why it's
still
kind of
alive,
boring and
I
dragged
believe.
in places.
Oversaw the production of this movie, even.
Yeah. Because this was a huge scandal. There was something called the Knapp Commission, which was formed in 1970, which was like came out as a result of a lot of a couple of instances of like whistleblowing on everyday sort of like ubiquitous corruption within the NYPD of the 70s, which did not change at all. And
fortunately, that's all been straightened out now. The NYPD, as far as I'm aware, are all clean as a whistle.
Fine.
So,
yes, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get into it.
I think they need to have those tanks, and they should even.
Yeah,
More.
of course, and they can be trusted to operate them responsibly. But this movie begins with a great piece of soundtrack work, and in fact, the only good piece of soundtrack work in this movie, which is a fucking minor key,
piercing
Joker mode police siren. It's creepy as hell.
Uncomfortable whine for so long.
And we have that for a long time over the titles until we open on young Pacino, Frank Serpico, this NYPD officer who is in the back of a police car on his way to hospital, having been shot, looking like a Caravaggio painting.
Yeah, he doesn't look
with the
good.
beard and the sort of Christ-like expression.
Having been shot in the face, in the cheek.
Yes.
Yeah,
genuinely.
You shot me in the cheek. That'll be it for me.
Yeah, probably wouldn't look that good.
No, well, I might. We'll see. It's hard to know until you're there in the moment, really.
Yeah.
I would be fine with it if I was serving cunt.
I'd be so upset if someone shot me in the face. It's one of the most expensive things I ever got.
just like sampling that for when you are later shot in the face and we're like, oh, they got her ass.
Damn, like that is, I would not like that. I would not enjoy that.
I would hate to be shot in the face.
I had enough surgery on my face. Not that I've ever had surgery on my face, of course.
Just did that.
Yeah, just did that. But anyway, so like Serpico is like being like bleeding in the back of this police car, being taken to hospital, and like the cops call it in, like, yeah, we've got a cop coming in, it's Serpico. And then we see like the call go around all the various precincts, and we see that like that dipshit Serpico has been shot, and everyone's like, oh, thank fuck somebody shot that asshole Serpico. Like, he's really unpopular.
Yes, yeah. The first question when they pick up the phone is like, was it a cop who shot him?
Yeah, do we think it was a cop who did it?
Yeah, and they say like, I know 6 cops who said they'd like to. And he gets taken to hospital. And this is a great movie for 70s New York, if you're a fan of 70s New York. And I have a movie that I'm going to sort of like poise it against later on, right, for this thing. But it has great shots of like New York in the 70s looking cheap and grimy and terrible, and they're bringing him into the emergency room in like no particular hurry.
Yeah,
there's like lots of shots of like doctors and nurses' hands, and there's sort of like absolute lack of like care or hurry. There's a great little detail that I think is purely accidental, where as they're wheeling him into the trauma bay, they like bump his hand on the door frame, and they have to like sort of like maneuver him through. And it's just it's really really quite well done.
They cut him out of his clothes. My notes say hot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he flashes back, and this is where the soundtrack and I begin to diverge, right? Because they got a guy to do the music for this, and that guy believes that the way that you score a movie is music should be playing all the time, and it should get in the way of everything.
Yeah, kind of like the original Doctor No, where they just play the theme song really loudly.
Yeah, yes. Genuinely. It's like it really sort of like takes a lot of the emotional impact out of the movie. So we flash back to Serpico being sworn in as a cop. And it's interesting because the sort of like the speech that they're given as they graduate from police academy is, I wrote this down, every day your life will be on the line and also your character. And that's an interesting nostalgic kind of framing of police ethics, that like there's a moral hazard, right? In the sense that like, this is one of the things that can happen to you. This is a danger inherent in the job, is that you can sort of like, you can lose your character, you can lose your ethics.
And also the guy giving the speech talks about how, as a police officer, it would be your duty to treat people with courtesy and respect, to enforce the law without favor, without prejudice. There's stuff that is like very kind of standard police graduation, like,
yeah, for
verbiage.
sure.
But Al Pacino is a good enough actor to sell that like Serpico really believes this.
Yeah, he's the only one in the auditorium. He's like listening. He's got his like fingers steepled. He's like, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, this is the most wide-eyed and bushy-tailed motherfucker on earth. Right at the start here is Frank Serpico.
He left behind a promising career as a podcaster, and he's like he's drunk the Kool-Aid. He's like, he's all in on this stuff.
Yeah. And then back in the present, the police lieutenant comes down. He says, I want a 24-hour guard on Serpico outside his hospital room. And then we spend most of the rest of the movie in flashback.
Yeah, in flashback.
Serpico is alive. He's conscious, but he's like, obviously in a critical state. So we flash back to his graduation day and his first day on the job. And the soundtrack is really keen to tell us this man is Italian-American.
He's severely Italian-American.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of dealing with these Guido motherfuckers.
I got a question. Yeah. All the fucking cops in this movie are Italian-American. All the cops in New York City in this time were Italian-American. All of the gangsters in New York City at this time were Italian-American. Was there anyone else in New York City in the 1960s? Was it just all Italian-Americans?
Yeah, it was all Italian dudes.
There is occasionally a black person.
I remember
But don't
this.
worry about that.
I have some thoughts about this later on, yeah.
I got some fucking thoughts.
But genuinely, the film is like constantly playing, like, do you remember, this is deep cut, but like the Italian sting from The Man with the Green Hat?
That's
we
right.
did
Yes,
that Man from Uncle Phil, where we cut to the Village of Studio Backlot and they were playing like, and Robert Vaughn was like,
I'm not Italian,
No, that's not it.
Mamma mia.
Yeah, basically everyone is saying
no,
this.
that's not it either.
We have so many drops in Alice's file, but it's just like KJB_Italian.
I have so little hard drive space left, and it's mostly drops. It's genuinely getting to be a problem.
You never know when you're gonna need him.
So Serpico is Italian, but the other thing that he is he's working class. He's a working class stiff, and so we see him on his like first day in the job, and his chain of command don't really care that much. But what's really was an arresting visual, if you'll excuse the pun, is
all right. That's enough of that. It's Devon. I'm back, and it's a different Devon. It's a sober Devon from several days later, and I'm here to say, if you want to hear the rest of this episode, you're going to have to go to our Patreon, and that's patreon.com/killjamesbond, all one word, and sign up today for just £5 a month. That is the price of about a decently sized punnet of apples nowadays, huh? Ridiculous. Anyway, I'll see you there.